having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, oh well, same, of course.
So I'll start normally by the way I normally start, which is just telling people that maybe haven't seen the videos that I've been doing, the reason why I'm doing these. So for the past 3 months now, about 3 months, I've been doing these live videos, and I was thinking of different ways that I can help our local community here in Southwest Florida, and I have a decent following on Instagram, and I said, if I do these live videos with local business owners, managers, they'll be able to showcase their business, and then hopefully we'll get customers at the door and help them a little bit more. So I've been doing these videos, and it's been a lot of fun. I get to know a lot of new people, a lot of the businesses that make our community, and and hopefully I'm helping the businesses as well. So glad to have you and Bailey's here today and talk a little bit about that. But before we get about Bailey's, wanted to see if you could introduce yourself a little bit and tell us who you are.
Absolutely. My name's Callie. I am one of the managers at Bailey's, and I have a little bit of family history with Bailey's as well. I'm one of the fourth generation owner operators there. And all that really means is that I pick up the trash when it's on the floor and, get the carts out of the parking lot. And then I try to sell some wine in between that. So I'm also the wine steward at Bailey's. And we have a couple other smaller businesses on the islands. I guess, do you want to know kind of how I ended up on Sanibel? I think
Yeah.
a little bit of sense.
Are you from Sanibel, or how did you end up on the island?
Great question. My mom grew up here, and her father is Francis Bailey, who is the son of Frank Bailey, who opened Bailey's. And she had a really idyllic childhood here and wanted to get off the island because there wasn't a lot going on then. Some people would argue there's not that much going on now, right? And she left to start her family in Jacksonville, Florida. So I was born and raised there, visiting here like so many people do. And when I went to school and graduated, my parents asked me if I would be willing to helping them out a try first before I entered the job market. And I did tell them, but I told myself that if I hated it, I would quit and do, what my degrees were in. But so far, it hasn't been that bad.
Awesome. So you kind of started talking a little bit about Bailey's and like the generation, like you said, and I wanted to, before we get into everything that you sell in there and all the yummy stuff that you have from all the pictures I've seen, I want to talk a little bit about the history, and if you can kind of people that are not familiar with, kind of give us a little bit of history of the business.
Absolutely, and I think a little bit of Lee County history will be helpful too.
Sure.
The county as a whole, this whole area was agricultural, and Sanibel was no different back in the 1800s. So to encourage people to move down here, the government was offering land, and that's what attracted the Bailey family in the late 1800s. And I think fortunately for me now, they were terrible farmers. So they started a packing and shipping business in 1899 on the wharf that is at the beach. If folks familiar with the causeway, as you come onto the causeway, the beach to the right is where the wharf used to be. And the original store was on the dock. A hurricane wiped it out.
Yeah.
So they built another store right off the beach in a similar location that was more of a general store. And then In the middle 1900s, they moved the store to its current location, which is at the corner of Periwinkle and Tarpon Bay. So just basically turn right once you get onto the island, and then you'll hit a three-way stop, and we're on that corner.
Awesome.
Oh,
And,
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, so you know, obviously for those that haven't been there, when you mean a general store, you know, I kind of wanted to understand the concept, you know, like because it, you know, today we have very specific stores, and the general
Yeah,
store like has a little bit of everything. So if you can kind of cover that a little bit as well.
of course. We are closer to a traditional grocery store than we probably have been in the past. My great uncle used to say, if we don't have it, you don't need it. And that was before Walmart was right over the bridge. So we try not to say that anymore. But we offer groceries, grocery delivery. We also have a hardware store where you can find things to fix your home or condo, as well as more souvenir items and a few gifts sprinkled in there as well.
Awesome. So it is, you try to be, or maybe in the past you were more, but you're still kind of like a one-stop place that you can grab a, if you're
We
coming on the
try.
island, you can get some food and some hardware and, you know,
Yep,
souvenirs to give it to someone as you go to your hotel or your house or whatnot.
exactly.
Awesome.
You
Uh,
got it.
you know, and I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about that. You know, like you said, you kind of went more into like the supermarket kind of style, right, and less of the other products. And then, you know, wanted to talk specifically what are some of the things in the supermarket, like, you know, when you talk, you mentioned like the farming land. So you know, like fresh produce, fresh vegetables and fruits. You know, you obviously you're by the water, so seafood. You know, if you can kind of cover all that stuff a little bit.
Absolutely. I think the best way to do that is imagining walking into the store. Otherwise, I'll forget something. And we can't do that. Everybody will be disappointed in me. So, as you walk into the entrance of the store, you will immediately be hit by the smell of our coffee bar, which is full service and is a house blend. We offer all different espresso drinks, teas, smoothies, and then you can either go straight or take a right. If you went right, you would find yourself in the hardware store where, like I said, you can find stuff to fix your house or also gifts. Obviously, with the beach, we like to have what people need for the beach as well, and then stuff that they can take home to their family or give to their guests while they're here. So going back over past the coffee bar, you walk into our produce area. Like you said, lots of fresh produce. We work with as many local distributors as we can. And you'll also find yourself at the bakery counter where we have lots of goodies. We
Yeah,
fry
I've
our
seen
own donuts.
a lot of good pictures that I'm like, I think it's worth a drive
Yeah,
just to the bakery stuff that I've seen.
yeah, the
And
bakery
I
posts
saw
are
an
the most
awesome cake today.
popular.
I saw an awesome Sanibel cake today in your pictures as I was scrolling through them, and that was really nice.
Yeah, thank you. So our bakery manager handles all of that, and she's come up with some really cool ideas like the Sanibel cake. So once you pass the donuts, if you can resist them, you'll find yourself in the deli and prepared foods area where you can get a custom sandwich made to order. You can get, you know, everything you would expect from a deli. We also do hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is a great option for families who maybe, if they're visiting, don't want to go out for every meal. And then you will hit our fresh orange juice, which we squeeze in-house with this really interesting machine that slices the orange and then squeezes it. It's crazy. It's like something out of Willy Wonka. So after you pass by the fresh juice, then you'll find all of the, you know, traditional like middle of the store items. But you'll also see our butcher shop, which has these beautiful thick cuts of steak and pork that are hard to walk by every day. We also have a house specialty called pig candy, which is bacon that's smoked in our smoker and then rubbed with this sweet spice mix, and you eat it like that. Just bacon. Yeah. I mean, what could be better than bacon, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. And then we have our fresh seafood case, and you'll keep heading through the grocery store where we focus on organic foods, gluten-free foods, any other alternative diet stuff, and then everything that a family would want as well. After that, you'll see our beer and wine selection. We've got a whole aisle of beer and then a couple aisles of wine, and I'm in charge of the wine, so obviously I'm really passionate about it.
So you
So
have good
please
wine
come
taste.
see me. Yeah, I'd love to help you pick out your next favorite bottle of wine. And then you'll check out. If you don't need a fishing license, that is. So that's kind of the best virtual tour I can give you.
Awesome. And just kind of following what you were saying, and then a little bit of the history that you gave too. It kind of strikes me like as a family, and obviously you're on an island where people kind of know each other, and it's like, but it's a little bit of that like family style that you go in, people know who is who, who's like who's your baker, who's your butcher, that kind of stuff. And but it also sounds like if you're going in for the weekend, you can stop there. It's a one stop. You got everything you want. I'm gonna clean up my house or do yard work, and I'm gonna barbecue, and I'm gonna have a beer. You can get everything there and not have to come back for the weekend and just enjoy the island.
Exactly. Yep. Come see us. We'll take care of you.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. I haven't been yet, but I have to go there. So
Absolutely. You're welcome.
I wanted to ask you in regards to COVID-19. Obviously, I've talked to over 75 businesses here already, and impacted businesses differently, right? Like some of them impacted them positively, actually. Others negatively. Others really didn't impact them at all. Obviously, all of them had to make some take different precautions and different things they have to do. And I wanted to ask you guys, how did it affect you guys, both from a standpoint of closing or reducing hours, but at the same time, what were some of the measurements you had to take to ensure that everybody that comes in is safe and your employees are safer as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Very timely, especially with everything we have going on in Florida. Well, I'll put it this way. All of our customers are special to us. So we want to take care of them and make them feel safe in our store. And that's something that's been really important to us for a long time and is community based. We like being the place where people see others that they know, and you'll find, more visible members of the community as well. So we wanted to continue that feeling of community, especially during such a time that can be really isolating for people. And that has a lot to do with taking care of folks, doing things like grocery delivery service, which we already did, but we made sure to implement a contactless version. We also do curbside pickup, which again, we were already doing, but we're being extra cautious now. We ask people if they want us to close their car door or if they would rather close their car door. Stuff as little as that is really important to us because we know it's important to the people we're serving. We've also started sanitizing our carts with the commercial food grade sanitizer instead of just the regular sanitizer. So every cart gets sprayed down as it's returned to the cart corral so that people grabbing a cart have something safe to use for their groceries. And then we also have sanitizing wipes that they can access as well as soon as they walk in the door. I know masks are becoming a really political topic, but if I can try to keep it as apolitical as possible, we asked everyone to start wearing masks in our store because it's a family business. I work there with my actual family as well as all of our staff who are part of our family as well. So we wanted to make sure that they were safe so that they could continue serving everyone else, as well as not, return home with something that they could hurt their family with. So that was really important to us. And, people react in different ways about it, but for the most part, everybody's cool with the mask now.
Yeah.
And then as far as business, being an essential business was really interesting roller coaster ride. As you know, and everyone else watching knows, we ran out of toilet paper and Clorox wipes. So that was fun. Originally, everyone rushed to the store because they were going to hunker down and hide out. And that was fabulous for business while our visitors were still here. And, thank you to everybody who shopped with us then. But then a lot of people went home and a lot of people stopped traveling entirely. So we missed all of those visitors in March and April who help us through slower times in September. And over the summer, things have been pretty steady. It seems like folks are a little more comfortable with places they can drive to, including Southwest Florida. And we've seen a lot of visitors from in the state, which we've seen in years past, but not as many as this year. And then, of course, less people from Europe. So things have kind of hit an equilibrium for now, but I imagine with the everything being up in the air with school, I'm not sure what's going to happen starting this fall. But the best we can do is prepare for the worst and see what happens. But we'll be here.
I was actually talking to my wife earlier, and she was saying that she's in a couple of the moms groups here in Naples, and she said a lot of the moms are actually taking trips to Sanibel, right? Because like you're
Awesome.
exhausted, all the beaches in Naples, Marco Island. I mean, you can only go to them so much, so they're going to Fort Myers Beach, they're going to Sanibel, they're Captiva, right? So which is nice, right? It gets it gets you out of the routine a little bit, right? You drive a little. I mean, not that Naples is that far, right? But you drive a little bit longer to get there than you would. I want to ask you a question. You kind of answered a little bit, but I want to ask you specifically. The type of clientele that you come in. I mean, you kind of mentioned you have the usuals, the locals, people that have homes in the island that will go there, that know everybody, and then you also have tourists. And these tourists are people that are perhaps one-time visitors or people that are there, on a regular basis. And I wanted to ask, I know our vice president goes to Sanibel. Did he ever stop at the store or?
I think his team shops with us, but I have never had him in the store. That would be pretty darn cool.
Yeah. You have to make sure you get a picture if that happens.
Yeah, I know he attends one of the churches really frequently when he visits, and I think there's a barber shop that he stops at as well. I haven't had the pleasure, but Mr. Vice President, if you're listening, I'd love to welcome you to our store, show you what island life's all about.
We have to send him this video. I'll make sure I'll send him this video so it gets to him.
Oh man, yeah.
But going back to the question with the clientele, I mean, if you can kind of talk a little bit about the clientele. You mentioned a little bit of locals, a little bit of tourists, but if you can trying to, I'm trying to picture as you gave me the virtual tour, like someone local going in versus someone not local going in, and trying to understand what your clientele is like.
Yeah, absolutely. We, so what kind of people will you see in our store? You'll see people who are really well dressed, who are looking to have a really fun weekend here. You'll see people who, might be the wealthiest person on the island and they're wearing tank top and flip flops. So you never know, and I
Yeah.
figure it's just good to be nice to everybody, right? Because you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we also get lots of families. Like you were saying, moms will come visit us, and I encourage them to come see us for, picnic supplies or bike supplies for the day. We also have fabulous restaurants that they should visit while they're out here. So lots of options. Who else? Okay, so you may have already figured this out, but people under 30 you might not see as often. So if you wouldn't know that I work there, you might think I'm kind of an anomaly at Bailey's. But I started to see my people. Yep. Some younger families, people who may have come here as a kid who are now vacationing with their young family. So glad to see them, and I really welcome those people to let us show them what good hospitality is like, not just in our store, but all over the island. We try to take really good care of our guests as well as our residents.
Awesome. Yeah. And you're mentioning that, but I have a couple of friends who actually went to high school with, and they actually make Sanibel their vacation place, and they go to Sanibel, which is
Awesome.
pretty cool. I grew up in Boston, and they're in Boston, but when they come on vacation, they go in to Sanibel. So it's pretty cool. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, and you mentioned a little bit before, but all the physical location, where exactly you're located, you already mentioned, but if you could repeat. And then also, people looking to get a little bit more information about Bailey's, website, social media handle, and then phone number if there is, or any, hours of operations. I don't know if you're operating at regular hours or special hours. So if you kind of covered that a little bit.
Absolutely. So we are currently operating 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We just found that having those extra hours in the evening to clean were extremely helpful, and people have adapted to coming to see us just a bit earlier than they may have in the past. Where do I start? Okay, so our address, right? If you are driving onto the causeway, you'll take my right, or right if you're looking at me, and go all the way down Periwinkle Way. When you hit the four-way stop, we'll be on your left in Bailey's Center, which has some other fabulous businesses you should definitely visit as well while you're out there. The address is 2477 Periwinkle Way. Our social media handles are Bailey's of Sanibel. And I'm trying to think, what else have I forgotten? Website.
Phone number.
Phone number 239-472-1516. Give me a call.
And the website?
Website, thank you. www. Do you need that part anymore? I'm not sure. Seems like it's getting phased out.
Nah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, so Baileys-Sanibel.com. And if you want to skip our homepage and go straight to our online shopping, it's shop.baileys-sanibel.com.
And that's where you said, where you mentioned earlier that you can shop online and do curbside pickup.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes everything in the store.
Yep.
So you can do curbside for alcohol as well?
Yes.
and
with ID, right? I
and
better remember
prepared meal
that.
and prepared meals and everything. So
Yep.
if you're coming into the island, you just, you know, put your order before, stop by, get your food, and go home. Have a nice
Yep.
meal, nice dinner, and you're ready to go.
Yep. Exactly.
Awesome.
Did
Um,
I forget anything?
Yeah, Kelly, towards the end of the show, what I like to do is kind of leave a you know, some time for my guests to kind of give a message for, you know, their customers, past customers, current customers, future customers, or just a message in general. You know, so it's you know, the mic's yours, and you know, you're more than welcome to you know, invite people in, thank people for their business, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. I should have thought harder about this, but here's my best whack at it. My name's Callie. I'm part of the fourth generation owner operator team at Bailey's on Sanibel. I'd love for you and your family to come see me in the store so we can take care of you with our great customer service and our outstanding products. So come see me.
Awesome. And before I let you go, we were going to do a giveaway, right? So
Yes.
I'll let you. I know we talked about it. They have to follow Bailey's Assemble on Instagram.
Yes.
They have to follow me on Instagram, and then they have to answer a question correctly. The first person to follow both of us and answer correctly will get a gift card. So I'll let you
Yes.
tell what the
Okay.
question is.
Okay. You have to tell me if this is too hard, okay?
All right.
At the beginning, I said when we first opened as a packing and shipping facility. How's that?
When the year that you first opened.
Yeah.
Yep. So the first year, the first time you opened. Yep.
Yes. The year we
Yep.
first opened.
If you're paying attention, I know what it is. If you're paying attention, you should know. If not, you can watch the video again, right? So
Yeah.
awesome. So the first person to answer when you first opened, when you originally opened, it wasn't on this location, it was in a different location. Well, and it was as a packing company because your family were terrible farmers, as you mentioned. So the first year that you open, and then you have to follow Bailey's Sanibel on Instagram. Follow myself on Instagram. First person to respond will get a gift card, and I'll pass along the information of the winner so that they can pick it up at the store. Right?
Perfect. That sounds great.
Well, wanted to thank you so much for taking the time, telling us a little bit about you, a bit about the family history, a little bit about the history of Bailey's, and you know currently what Bailey's is doing. So we covered a lot. Really appreciate your time and really appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, it was a pleasure. Have a good night.